shy, don't stall. We got a funky vibe, yeah. Welcome all. It's a safe spot where the truth unwinds. Share your thoughts, leave your worries behind. Woo! Defense West, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love flow free. Join the fam where you're meant to be. Oh, got mysteries, stories that feel it right. We dig deep, ain't no secrets to hide. No judgment here, just an open crew. We're all about justice and the honest view. Yeah, Defense West, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love flow free. Join the fam where you're meant to be.
Morning. Hello. Are we awake yet? Happy Menendez Day. Would you believe it is exactly to the day, freaky, to the day, the anniversary of Jose and Kitty Menendez's untimely murder. True facts. Good morning, madam. How are you? Is your weather lovely over there? Is it a good day for celebrating? Let's have some pina coladas. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs open. I have my eye in the sky. Trying to find someone that is tweeting, spilling, showing, explaining anything to do with this hearing. It's actually going, they're not even going to be in the courtroom. It's a Zoom hearing they're having from their cells. And it's Erik today and Lyle tomorrow. So there's one court feed, but they're not actually streaming it. They may release the tape after the hearings, both hearings are done, or one. I don't know if they'll release it at the end of today's hearing. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I have found some stuff that can keep us amused for a little bit anyway, whilst we wait. So have no fear. I have multi-eye tasking going on. I have my iPad. I've got 4 on that side and 2 on this side. So I can do no more. But, thank you. I did a French tip, but with pink. Yay. How's that? Except I broke one. It snapped halfway through before I had my nails done, and I've just put some clip. It's been a saga today, okay? Hey, what is it, woman? How you doing? Well, it's not being live streamed. So I'll just explain it. It's a Zoom hearing from Erik's today and Lyle tomorrow. So it's Zoom from his prison facility to the courtroom, and there is one court feed. And as I said, I've got 6 different tabs open. I've got Twitter or X, and I have followed as many Menendez sites on there as I can, watching those notifications. I have the LA local news. I have 3 other different sites as well, KTLA. So I'm keeping my eye on the prize. I don't know, but I've got some information. I've actually got there's a snippet I just found from the former Menudo member describing his experiences with Jose. And I also have the an hour-long documentary type of presentation, explaining the case, which looks good too. So we've got stuff to do. Don't you worry about that. We'll fill in some time whilst we wait, because I don't know if we'll hear anything until the end. I have no idea. There isn't anything that I can find any information on. They're all just saying it's set to happen today, and I'll just keep refreshing the page, and just keep clicking through. That's all I can do. Oh, one notification. Who's that? Oh, I even put a tweet on and said, anyone hints? Anyone know who's tweeting it? Surely someone's going to be spilling the beans somewhere. Yeah. No one answered that yet, but it's out there. What about it? I don't do that till it starts. He's so. What? Oh, you're talking about, sorry, brain dead. You're talking about Jose. Okay, I'm with you now. Sorry. You skipped a couple of steps for me. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've got a photo. I saved it too. And it's freaky. I looked at it and went, ooh, that's. Where did I save it? There it is. I can share that image. I knew I saved that for something. Oh, doesn't like that file. Hang on. Maybe I can put it into my media. You just watch me. I'll get it in there somewhere. That's what he said. Sorry. I said that out loud, didn't I? All right, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Look at the face of Lyle. Just, it gives me goosebumps. It's just, ugh. Yeah. Nasty ass. Just a nasty. But do you know what? I actually am more angry at the mother because she allowed it. She knew and she allowed it. She is very, very selfish, or was. And I found this one too. This was quite cute. That one, I think. Yes. Come on. Thank you. There you go. Then and now. And you know what? I actually think Lyle was the better looking one in the younger years, and Erik is the better looking one now. That's my humble opinion, anyway. All right. I'll just do a final once over, make sure I haven't missed anything before we start. I've got ABC News up. Additional live stream. All right, that's rolling. On that one, KTLA. Nope. All right, cool. Nope, nothing there. Not missing anything. Right, let's get into it, shall we? This is a documentary. It's about a. Oh, hang on. No, I'll do the Menudo one first because that's only a quick one. This is the Menudo member. What was his name? Roland something? Roy Rossello. In 1983, 13-year-old Roy Rossello joined the group Menudo. It was a Latin boy band, and it. I'm pretty sure. What's his name? Was it? Ricky. I beg your pardon. Yeah. I hate when my brain doesn't work. He joined the group in the fall of 1983-1984. Menudo was appearing in New York City. And during the trip to New York, Elgato Diaz asked Roy to do a favor, instructing him to go downstairs at the hotel and see Jose Menendez in a limousine. Roy did so and was taken to a home in New Jersey, given wine by Jose, and backdoor essayed. Roy lost consciousness and woke up back in his hotel. He was bleeding from the back door. He was in unbearable pain for a week. Jose Menendez verbally Roy in the bathroom prior to the Menudo concert in New York. And later that same night, Jose backdoor essayed again in a hotel room. Lovely. Charmer. Yeah. Real upstanding gent. And that was a bad choice.
Comenzaron a hablar. They was talking, Edgardo and Menendez. Y al momento me ofrecieron una copa de vino.
I agree. Oh.
Yo tenía 13 años. Edgardo no acostumbraba a servir bebidas alcohólicas. También hay ese punto. José
okay. Can we have closed captions in English, please? Pretty please? That'd be handy. No. English. Inglese. Come on. Chiudi la porta. Oh. It's not. Let me change it. Hang on. Spanish. Auto translate? English. How the hell did I get to Spanish? Oh, that's right. My Spanish altered personality changed it.
Menendez me dijo, toma este vino. Es un vino carísimo. Y tómate toda la taza. Después que yo me la tomé, yo me comencé a sentir un cansancio, un peso. Yo no podía más moverme. A partir de ese momento, yo solamente veía cosas como que desenfocadas.
Hello, Lindsay. Welcome.
Alguien me empujó. Alguien me cayó.
No. It's Zoom hearing between Eric's today and Lyle tomorrow. Eric is in his prison facility still, and it's being streamed to the Zoom to the courthouse. But there is a media in there, and I've got 6 different tabs open, keeping an eye on who's tweeting and where any tidbits might be popping up. So in the meantime, we're just watching. This is the former Menudo member that was assaulted by Jose as well. And I was reading today, the new district attorney in LA has he submitted a 132-page brief on why, he opposes their parole, and the judge has ruled that this gentleman, Ross Rawlings, the Menudo member, his statement is not admissible. It's not coming into court. It is not relevant, apparently. It doesn't bear any facts towards the actions of the brothers. Right, okay. And there was something else that he said that I've got it in one of the articles that I've got pinned somewhere. So we'll just keep watching this one. But welcome. Hello, Christine. How you doing? All right.
Go. Alguien trying to push me. Y yo caminé un pasillo bien largo. y había un cuarto. Yo no podía reaccionar porque eso me estaba tomando cuenta de mi cuerpo. Me drogaron. Y después de eso, yo amanecí
He woke up
en el
in
hotel.
his hotel room bleeding.
¿Cómo yo llegué al hotel? Yo no sé. Pero cuando yo fui al baño, I was bleeding.
I don't know if it, I don't know, Joel.
Y yo estuve una semana con un dolor terrible. Con un dolor que no podía más. No me podía ni
Oh,
mover.
shivers.
Yo me acuerdo que yo tenía que simular que yo no estaba con dolor, pero el dolor estaba tomando cuenta de mi vida. Que era un dolor terrible. Y sangré muchísimo. Y yo le mostré a Carlos, mire Carlos, mi ano se está sangrando.
Elgato was the guy that sent him down into the limousine to go with Jose. So he must have known. He had to have. Had to.
Ah, tranquilo. Ya luego se te va a sanar. Ya luego tú estarás listo.
Piece of shit. Piece of shit. And the fact that the judge won't let that in, just as big a piece of shit, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry. That's fucked. That, you know. What happened to the whole story? Not just the fucking, you know, the tidbits that you feel. Yeah, don't start me. Don't start me. Tanya and I have had one of those days. One of those days. Yeah. Yep. Yep. But have it like, can you imagine how that poor man feels now? The judge has pretty much just that, you know, your experience is not, it's not needed. It's no longer relevant. It's not, he's just completely, you know what I mean? Like he's, I can't think of it. I should start. Start again. You know what? 12 hours ago, I would have gotten that sentence out without a problem. Oh dear. So he has not validated his story, basically. Does that make sense? The judge said, where is the where did I put that article? Hang on, I'll find it. It was pretty much that he said that his testimony wasn't relevant to the actions of the boys that night, apparently. It didn't have any bearing whatsoever to it and their behaviour. So it wasn't admissible. GMA, who's GMA? No, that was just an update. History. Not even none of the big like Court TV and Law and Crime, nothing on them. Nothing on the Menendez at all. Where is it? Oh, it was on YouTube, Jody. You're an idiot. All right, I'll play this. I'll start this off and I will look for it whilst we're playing. Well, howdy, howdy, ho. Or hody, hody, hey. Better the how you know. Oh, yeah. It's one of those days. One of those days in here. But welcome. Yes, the judge does suck. All right. Let's do it. This is from Hill Harper. I will drop his link in the chat.
1989, when media titan Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty were gunned down in cold blood in their multi-million-dollar Beverly Hills mansion. The gruesome double murders shocked residents of this well-heeled hamlet and would later transfix a nation drawn to the lurid testimony playing live from a Van Nuys courtroom. But for the first several months following the murders, the world would be riveted by one of the most publicized whodunits in history, and it was straight out of a Hollywood film noir. But how did it really happen?
Beverly Hills represents wealth, represents exclusivity.
No, darling.
Pretty
I don't need anything wacky to make me any wackier.
Cars.
I don't even drink.
Crimes happen all over
I'm
LA,
silly
but
enough.
rarely in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, California averages 2 murders a year, and in August 20th, 1989, their quota was filled.
It's only because it's after midnight here.
What's the problem?
This is the 911 call.
What's the problem? Someone killed my parents. Pardon me? Someone killed my
The phone rang, and it was the watch commander indicating that I needed to respond to the station. They had a double homicide, 722 North Elm.
The first patrol car pulls up. Erik Menendez is curled up in a ball, weeping hysterically on the front lawn.
At this time, we have 2 deceased persons inside, a male and a female.
They
Nasty
escorted
too.
me into the
Nasty.
home to show me the crime scene.
Yes. I'm waiting for them to kick in.
As you enter, there is a large double door
Okay.
directly in front of you.
Do anything though for me.
The victims were in their home.
Have you all seen the Netflix documentary on this? It's quite good. Well, it's a docu-series actually. But yeah.
Watching
well.
TV, having dessert, relaxing.
Apparently, that's where they started shooting the second they were in the room.
Mr. Menendez was sitting on the couch.
Graphic
and
content.
Quite a bit of trauma to the legs, to the head, to the torso.
Apparently, yeah, his head was not recognizable.
Just immense carnage on the body itself. Just below, on the floor between the coffee table and the
Kitty.
couch, was Mrs. Menendez, Kitty Menendez.
In my 38 years in law enforcement, I've seen murder victims and I've seen suicide victims, but the condition in which these 2 bodies were in, I'll never forget the look. They were basically unrecognizable.
The way movies depict a crime scene is tamer, often, than what it really is. It's always shocking, the amount of blood. It's more than you can fathom.
Occasionally you would hear a flop here and a flop there, and that would have been the tissue falling down from the bookcases or the ceiling.
Oh, gross.
My partner needed to
Oh.
hold an umbrella over my head and camera so that
Yeah, I did
it
too.
would protect us both from the types of tissue falling down.
Gross.
When they picked up Jose's body, his brain fell out of his head.
Oh.
It was just a scene you don't want to see very often.
Yeah, very often. Ever. I probably should have watched these before.
It was 11:45, 12 o'clock at night, and the phone woke us up. Eric was screaming on the phone.
It was
My
Lyle.
father's dead, my father's dead.
Lyle
the
called.
house was cordoned off already with that yellow tape. There was a number of police cars. They blocked off the traffic, no traffic. Lyle was on the sidewalk talking to 1 or 2, either policemen or detectives.
The police show up at the scene, and there are these 2 distraught sons, these 2 boys.
I'm sure it was
and
Lyle
they've
that
just
called.
found their parents murdered. Lyle and Erik Menendez, the brothers, they had a good reputation. They were good students. They were great tennis players.
I was quite close to them at that time. and I felt like they needed me. We went down to the police station, and I went with them.
I interviewed the two boys, Lyle and Eric, and Eric was very, very tearful and told me that they had been to a food festival and a movie in Santa Monica. And when they came in, they entered the house, they found their parents deceased. I tried to console them and then tried to get information as to who would have possibly done this.
The first hours after the crime, the police are scrubbing the crime scene, and they're looking for DNA evidence, they're looking for fingerprints, they are looking for eyewitnesses and for what people might have heard, particularly when the crime is gunshots.
I believe at 10 o'clock in the evening, the neighbors heard a banging, but did not want to get involved.
It sounded like
Shotgun blast over and over again. You're talking, you know, a good 16 shots with a shotgun blast.
Nobody called the police, which is very unsurprisingly, they call on barking dogs all the time in Beverly Hills and parking violations.
I remember first hearing about the Menendez murders on local TV, and it seemed completely unreal.
The names of the victims that we have is Joseph Enrique Menendez, 45 years old, and his wife, Mary or Kitty Louise Menendez, 44 years old.
Who could get into the home and creep up on them as they're watching TV, you know, in their den? There was no real struggle. How did the perpetrator do that?
People in this quiet, exclusive neighborhood remained surprised at the murders.
It said Beverly Hills, and I thought it was somewhere else. You know?
Why'd you think that?
Well, I didn't think it would be here, right where I come to work at.
After what happened here last night, some of the neighbors are worried and afraid.
We don't know if this is an isolated incident.
There was an urgency that we needed to solve this case, not only for the victims, but for the community at large.
Was it a gang-related type thing? Was it a mafia-related type thing?
This was a horrific crime.
Police have no
What
conclusive
year was it?
evidence.
1980?
Who hated them? Who would they cross?
86? Was it 86? That's bad, Jody. That's terrible.
It happened at this mansion in the heart of Beverly Hills.
At approximately
Hello? I just got booted. StreamYard booted me. The fuck? Sorry, I disappeared for a bit, but I'm back. Please tell me you can still hear me. Am I on? Have I won anything? Are we all here, present, and accounted for? I don't know. I just have no idea. It's not done that in a long, long time, and I'm on like I'm Ethernet cable connected, so it's not Wi-Fi. It's who knows, darling. It's the poltergeist.
Pardon me? I have a hysterical personality.
Who is the person that was shot?
My mom and my dad.
Told you it was Lyle.
Mom and dad?
My mom and my dad. Okay, hold on a second.
Hands up in the back.
All morning, detectives and technicians from the crime lab continued to look for clues behind the huge oak doors and the ornate windows.
This was all about loss. They had lost their parents, and it was a huge issue of loss and immediate grief.
Well, Lyle was 21 and Eric was 19, I think, wasn't he?
It's really hard to describe the feelings. Just the shock, just not believing that this was happening and that my parents were dead.
There were 3 memorial services for Jose and Kitty Menendez. There was a 3rd memorial service that was held in late September '89, about a month after the murders, for the Cuban-American relatives in Miami. And Erik and Lyle didn't show up. They told their aunt that they were just too emotional.
In the days following the crime, police were confused and they were baffled.
You had 2 dead people in a high-class residential area, which is like a red light to the press and to this community. And we had no leads, 0.
Is it as much of a mystery to everyone around here as it seems to be to the police right now?
Yeah, I mean, we just
I remember
have no
that
clue
haircut.
how anything like that could happen.
The goal is to solve the crime. We checked everything, trying to find
Yeah, you did.
some evidence that possibly the crooks left.
We found quite a bit of shotgun pellets that were left behind, and those were everything from birdshot, which is very small, to double-aught buck, which is very large.
There was some pieces of wadding there from the shotgun rounds.
I believe that there were 13 of those that we recovered throughout the floor. But the interesting fact was the expended cartridge cases were all picked up.
And fingerprints on a plastic shotgun shell would be pretty darn good for fingerprints.
So it was a very calculated move on the suspect's part of trying to collect as much evidence as possible. Why they didn't pick up the wadding, I don't know.
So when a crime happens in Beverly Hills, the first kind of snap judgment you would make is, oh, robbery. This involves money.
There were no apparent signs of a forced entry. We're uncertain as to this time as to how whoever committed the crime actually got into the home.
Was it a robbery? Probably not, because they don't believe there was any property missing.
No.
The next thing the police have to do is what could be the connection between the murderers and the victims.
There were a lot of signs at the scene that indicated that there was some type of relationship, that the killer and the victims knew each other in some way. A lot of the shooting occurred very close because Mr. Menendez was sitting on the couch, and right on the arm of the couch was a remote that did not fall off. Also, the coffee table immediately in front of both victims, the items on that were not disturbed. So the shooters were very, very close range, point blank.
They would start looking at Kitty and Jose Menendez about who their enemies were.
The initial media speculation about the Menendez murders was that it was somehow related to the entertainment business.
It's my understanding that it was the 2 boys, Erik and Lyle, who also indicated early on that this might be a mafia involvement.
When Jose and Kitty were murdered, the original idea was that it was supposedly because Jose's business dealings previously had an arm of their company that dealt in softcore porn. I was at the time working in a suburban bureau of the Los Angeles Times, and I was covering the pornography industry. There had been a previous mob hit of a pornographer in Los Angeles just the year before. I started looking into the allegations of a mob hit.
The Los Angeles Times is reporting organized crime may have played a part in the murders.
So Doug Plog and I went to Newark and interviewed a guy that was part of organized crime. He said we wouldn't have been as messy because we described to him what happened, and we wouldn't have killed his wife.
Police have no conclusive evidence that the shooting was mob-related and would not comment on the alleged mob connection, other than to say they are not ruling it out.
There was speculation in the media that because Jose was Latino, that there was some type of drug connection.
So then we profiled Jose to see if he had any connections, and it was all dead-end stuff.
At the same time, the police are doing their investigation. These two LA Times print reporters who were looking into this very spectacular, gruesome case. The reporters went to talk to the brothers.
When confronted with a sensational murder, you want to talk to the family. My colleague, Ron Sobel, and I visited them at their mansion. It had been only a few weeks, and so I walked in fully expecting to see two traumatized young men. And with Lyle, there wasn't any trace of that. He had some ideas to start businesses. He was much more interested in talking about his business plans than he was about what happened with his father and mother. Erik took his cues from Lyle and trying to show that he was, ready to assume the mantle of adulthood. We had a strong suspicion at that point that there was something Lyle and Erik were not telling.
Something wasn't right.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
My editor at the Miami Herald wanted me to write a biography about the fascinating life of Jose Menendez, Cuban-American rags to riches success story that ended in this horrible tragedy.
We lost a friend as well as a business associate.
The people that worked with him at Live Entertainment tended to like Jose very much, admire him very much.
Jose worked like a demon to succeed in America, and he did.
"45-year-old Jose Menendez was a talented, tough-minded show business exec. When he left Cuba at 16, he was penniless.
Well, Jose was the youngest child in a family in Cuba. Although they weren't rich, they were certainly well-respected family and considered themselves part of the Cuban elite. When Castro came to power, they lost everything they had. And, his family gradually, one after the other, left Cuba.
The company is broad-based and it provides pretty much what the consumer wants.
He started off working at Hertz as an executive and worked himself up like a rocket. Really a brilliant guy.
When Jose Menendez was top executive with Hertz Rent-A-Car, O.J. Simpson actually came for dinner one night to the Menendez home in Princeton, New Jersey, and he met Erik and Lyle Menendez when they were young boys. And from Hertz, he was named head of RCA Records.
Jose Menendez was very successful, but it came out that he also had a bit of a dark side.
Everybody who encountered him said one of two things about him. He could charm anyone and at the same time could be the most brutal boss that anybody had ever worked for.
At work, he was a holy terror. I mean, he would yell, scream, degrade, insult, and the employees were terrified of him. It began to raise questions about what kind of person he was behind closed doors.
47-year-old Kitty Menendez was a former small-town beauty queen who met her future husband at a college debating class.
When Jose met her, he was a brash, handsome guy with wavy dark hair, 6'1", and he swept her right off her feet.
According to Lyle, her son, Kitty Menendez, was miserable in her marriage, and she wasn't trying to hide that.
She would just explain all the things that she could have been, the things that she couldn't have, and it would just come out very, in a rage. Dad was having an affair.
For months and months and months, I would have to listen to my brother crying in the house.
She realized that the 20 years of sacrifice was for nothing.
It's very hard not to feel for Kitty. She's seen trapped in a marriage she didn't know what to do about with a man who was obviously very difficult.
Kitty Menendez was the doormat in the family, and she allowed everyone in the family to treat her like a doormat. I think that the father treated her with no respect, and therefore her sons treated her with no respect.
Jose did, to his associates, praise his sons, filled with admiration. At the same time, it was
If they
filled with
succeeded.
expectation.
The first thing were the indoctrination of the sons by the father, who would sit them down in a chair in the basement for hours at a time.
Especially Lyle. Apparently he would like almost put his forehead against his forehead and like to try to inculcate in him that his winner take all philosophy.
The Menendez family was like a royal family, that we were better than other people, that we were athletically gifted, we were smarter.
I think the most dangerous thing he did was to teach them the lesson that if you want something, go for it and don't worry about what you may do to people.
Things began to escalate.
My dad, he was training to be an Olympic swimmer at one point, and so he had all kinds of different methods and how to expand your lungs and how long I should be able to hold my breath. And we practiced him holding me under the water.
He even tried to like dated.
And I would fight him to get air.
The ends justifies the means, and that's what he taught his kids.
About a year and a half before Jose and Kitty were killed, Erik and Lyle Menendez were involved in some burglaries in Calabasas, where the family was living.
These two had more of a checkered past than the family ever let on.
One of their friends' parents had gone away.
Insulted.
From what I understand, it was Lyle's idea to break into the house and steal jewelry from the people.
It's a way of directing their frustration and resentment and anger and acting out.
In an attempt to keep Lyle Menendez out of trouble, because he was over 18, basically Erik Menendez took the fall for these burglaries in Calabasas. And Jose Menendez made a deal with the DA's office that Erik would be charged as a juvenile.
They couldn't stay in Calabasas because their sons had burgled the neighbors' houses, and so they moved to Beverly Hills. For them, that was the ultimate in showing success.
When the Menendez family moved to Beverly Hills, one of Kitty's closest friends said, "Kitty, you finally made it. You've got your 90210 zip code."
Eric? Hello, everyone out there at TV Land.
This was a family that was perfect on the outside, but the perfect family turned out to actually be a nightmare in real life.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Who could have brutally murdered the Hollywood executive and his beauty queen wife? For months, the public breathlessly followed every lead. Was it a mob hit, a drug deal gone bad? They all seemed to be dead ends. But behind the scenes, the trail was getting hotter. Beverly Hills police detectives and two newspaper reporters were zeroing in simultaneously on two prime suspects. If the secret investigations proved true, the revelation would rock the case and the country.
This was a horrific crime in a very prominent family. And it was a mystery as to what had happened.
I'm sorry, kill my parents. Pardon me?
In October of 1989, I came out to Los Angeles to work on my biography of Jose Menendez for the Miami Herald Sunday magazine. Marta Cano, their aunt, said, "You have to talk to the brothers to really understand the Menendez family." At a certain point in the interview, I, gently said to Erik, I need to ask you a few questions about the night of the murders.
I've never seen anything like it. Never will see anything like it. Probably the hardest thing I'll probably ever have to. They weren't real.
He told me repeatedly how close the family was, how much he loved his parents, and he told me what a shock it was to walk in and see his parents.
You know, I think that possibly if Lyle and I would have been home, if we would have been able to do something about it, I definitely would give my life.
As we were walking around the house, straight back from the main foyer was the room where Jose and Kitty had been killed. And I felt a chill as I walked by the room, and I thought to myself, if my parents had been killed in this house, had been brutally murdered, I wouldn't be living in this house.
True that.
We had put in several interview requests, and they finally agreed to sit down with us at their mansion. It started out just as any interview that any journalist would do with the survivor of a family. You want to draw them out and see what they might know as much as anything. And so I finally just asked the question that all of us journalists are embarrassed to ask, but we ask anyway because you never know what somebody will say, which is, how are you doing? And Lyle said, well, it's been kind of a long time now. And remember, this has only been a couple of months, so we're pretty much over it. The only thing I could compare it to was somebody who might have lost a pet that they cared about, but you know, you can get a new pet.
These two print reporters from the LA Times were not the only ones who were picking up on the strange response and reaction from the boys to the crime.
There was just something about them that did not sit right with me, especially when I needed to take an inked set of fingerprints from Lyle Menendez. And I asked Lyle, can we go into the house? Would that be all right? As soon as we were in the foyer, he looked over at me and he said, is that where it happened? And I looked at him like, you're the one who discovered this, not me. He looked like he just blew it.
He wanted to know if we'd had leads and were solving the crime. He was over dramatic, actually. And that's when we were starting to had our eyebrows up about him.
Behind the scenes, the police were quietly finding clues that they did not share.
There was quite a bit of evidence, computers that were in the home.
Right around the time of my deadline, the LA Times ran a story that Lyle Menendez had hired a computer expert to come to the house and looked for a possible will on the family's home computer.
We found out that they had hired a computer expert to come in and erase the computer file because Kitty was rewriting the family will. And she had let it be known that she was thinking of changing the will so that they wouldn't be able to inherit anything.
The boys were engaging in all sorts of odd behavior.
The boys went to the East Coast, I believe it was in New Jersey, and started spending large amounts of money, which seemed unusual.
In fact, 3 days after, they were spending quite a bit of money on lavish items.
Buying Rolex watches, they bought a Porsche car.
They spent a lot of money. In fact, I think some estimates say that in the first 6 or 7 months after the deaths, they spent $1 million. That's a lot of money.
They had leased a condo in Marina del Rey. That was part of their insurance settlement. They lived well.
They bought a restaurant in Princeton, New Jersey, a buffalo wing place. They were spending money that, like it was, they were drunken sailors.
Not the typical behavior that someone who just lost their parents would demonstrate.
So all that is incriminating, but police need cold, hard facts to actually charge somebody.
It's been 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and then boom.
A woman came to the station. She related a lot of things that only the shooters would know. That's it. The game's over. I knew it then.
For 7 months, there were no suspects. The police were hitting dead ends. And then in March of 1990, something happened that changed the whole equation.
Over the months, we've gathered a lot of evidence. It has been very circumstantial, and we were waiting for the glue, if you will, to bind it all together. And just recently, that glue has come about.
In the first week of March of 1990, Judalon Smith walked into the Beverly Hills Police.
She related a lot of things that only the shooters would know. And the key fact that we got out of it was the guns were thrown off Mulholland Highway.
They took the guns and they drove up to Mulholland Drive and they just threw them over the side of a very rural hill.
So we had a team of our SWAT team and every detective rappel, checking every slope. We didn't find any shotguns.
Police never find the weapons, but they do follow her next lead, and that is to the place where the guns were purchased.
We went to San Diego, goal being we were going to check every buy book in the town or the county if we had to.
They visited a lot of gun stores, that's why I'm saying this is just basic good detective work. And they looked at the registers where people would buy guns.
The second place was a Big Five.
At first glance, it seemed like this was going to be yet another dead end.
They didn't see the Menendez boys' names in the register, but they saw a name of a friend of the Menendez boys.
And the purchase of 2 Mossberg 12 gauges and some ammo. After that, this case started going together real well.
So the real question for police was, how did this woman, Judalon Smith, happen to know so much about this case? It turns out that Judalon Smith was the former mistress of the Menendez brothers' therapist.
Just when you think you've heard everything, you have a spurned girlfriend of the therapist who may know something, and the something turned out to be explosive.
Erik becomes, after the homicides, more and more depressed.
I think Erik was haunted by the murders afterwards, and I think he needed to talk to people about it.
Psychotherapist Jerome Oziel counseled the brothers.
Erik, he trusts Dr. Oziel, and so he confesses to Dr. Oziel that they killed their parents.
Are you guys still awake? Are you here? I haven't had any comments in chat since 12:20. Hello? This happened once before. And I was sitting here talking to myself. Ah, cool. So I haven't lost yous. Just checking. I just found, like going through Twitter looking for updates, I just found 2 crime scene, like actual crime scene photos of Kitty and Jose. Yeah. And you know who put them up? Jennifer Coffinduffer. So let me know if you want to see them.
Evidently, Erik was stressed
Nasty.
out from killing his parents. Lyle, not so much.
Lyle immediately rushed over to Dr. Oziel's office.
He tells Dr. Oziel,
I
I
knew you
understand
would.
what my brother said here, but I want you to know that this must remain a secret. If any of this comes out, you're a dead man.
Well, Oziel got scared and he realized, I might get murdered. I'll be the only one to know.
So Dr. Oziel came up with a plan.
About a month after Erik Menendez confessed to Dr. Oziel, Dr. Oziel told the brothers one afternoon that I think it would be a good idea if we record an audio tape of one of our therapy sessions. And just in case you ever get arrested, that we'll be able to show that you had remorse. And so the brothers agreed.
We thought that we would just kill Dad and eliminate the problem. And we decided that
My mother could not live without my father. We were doing her and us a favor in putting her out of her misery, really.
So he says, I'll take the audio tape and I'll put it in the safe deposit box. And nobody has access to that safe deposit box unless something happens to me. And Dr. Oziel becomes upset and dissatisfied with his mistress, and he kicks her out.
The next morning, Judlon Smith walked into the Beverly Hills Police and said, Dr. Oziel has an audio tape that's in a safe deposit box in Sherman Oaks with a confession.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
And we got a call at 6 in the morning, and Eric was panicked.
For 7 months, nothing. Seems like this is
Told
a
ya.
cold case, at least to the public. And then after 7 months, boom, an arrest.
Beverly Hills Police, they cordoned off the street. They were afraid Lyle was going to run. I think that's why they moved when they did.
And when he got into a car to drive away, they did a stop and arrested him at that time.
On the day that Lyle Menendez was arrested, I was actually in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I had 4 or 5 frantic messages from the city desk at the Miami Herald, and they told me that Lyle Menendez had just been arrested in Beverly Hills.
Eric was believed to be in Israel playing in a tennis tournament when his brother Lyle was arrested yesterday by police.
We wanted to see if Eric could actually do this pro tennis thing. So we went to Israel.
He was in Israel for to take part in a tennis tournament. That was the information that we had.
And then the big question was getting Eric back.
And we got a call at 6 in the morning from Lyle's then attorney. You have to leave Israel immediately or you'll be extradited. I didn't know what to think. And Eric was panicked. He said nothing.
The first lawyer that the Menendez brothers reached out to and hired was Robert Shapiro. He ultimately became very famous because he became part of O.J. Simpson's defense team.
Robert Shapiro negotiated a surrender for Eric Menendez.
We checked out, went to the airport, found that there was a flight to London. And the next day, I flew to LA and he flew to Miami to see his aunt.
19-year-old Erik Menendez, accused along with his older brother Lyle of the brutal deaths of their parents, may be about to turn himself in.
We have some unconfirmed reports that he may in fact be on his way back to the United States. We don't know what his destination would be or what his intent is.
His Cuban relatives had to talk him into coming back. And they said, we'll face it with you and do whatever we can to support you. And they certainly did that.
They convinced him the right thing to do was turn himself in. So he and his Aunt Martha, that actually both the brothers were very close to, flew to Los Angeles and he surrendered to authorities.
Would the defendants please rise?
Brothers Lyle and Erik Menendez late this afternoon were brought into a Beverly Hills courtroom and told of the charges against them. Both accused of murdering their father and mother, Jose and Kitty Menendez.
When I heard that the sons, their sons, that they had raised with a silver spoon in their mouths were the killers, I wasn't stunned. I was just disgusted.
Both brothers are being charged with both murders. We believe that both brothers were actively involved in the murder.
Both charges are special circumstances for which you could be sentenced to death. Do you understand the charges?
That's right. It was extremely difficult for the Menendez family to process the arrest of Erik and Lyle for the murders of their parents. They couldn't believe it. They said it wasn't possible.
You believe strongly in the boy's innocence?
Extremely. You cannot imagine how strongly I believe in that. I don't have words to say how strong I feel about the complete impossibility of them having committed the act that they're accused of.
Oh,
I think anybody that knew these boys couldn't imagine that they could have shot their parents.
22-year-old Joseph Lyle Menendez and his 19-year-old brother Eric were charged earlier this month
with 2 counts of murder each. The sons were arrested after a warrant was served on the family psychologist in search of evidence.
You had these 2 boys of privilege who had gone to the therapist and bared their souls, thinking that it was going to be kept confidential. And the next thing you know, there's a big legal fight about whether everything they said was going to be admissible against their interests in a court of law. It was awesome.
On behalf of Erik Menendez, we are going to vigorously defend his right to have a confidential communication with his therapist.
If the doctor is threatened, then he can breach patient confidentiality in order to save his own life.
The defense was hoping that in suppressing the tape, they could also convince the judge that Dr. Oziel should not testify. And the judge made it clear throughout the hearings that that was not going to happen.
Months after their arrest, the Menendez brothers decided to make a change in their defense team. Out went Robert Shapiro, and in came Leslie Abramson.
We always assumed that Dr. Oziel would be part of the case. That's what litigation is for. Some you win, some you lose.
And Leslie was going to take every ounce of her energy, of her soul, to make sure that if the state was going to prove these boys were guilty of murder, that the state was going to have to prove it.
But the DA admits that he is fighting for every piece of evidence to convict the 2 Menendez brothers for the sensational murders of their wealthy Beverly Hills parents.
Both brothers were calling me occasionally from jail. They said, wait until the trial. You'll find out what was really happening in the Menendez family.
He just said that it was our secret, that bad things would happen to me if I told anybody.
After 2 years of high-stakes preliminary hearings, the judge finally allowed Erik and Lyle's sensational audio tape confessions to be played at trial. Based on that key piece of evidence alone, it looked like it would be an open and shut case for the prosecution. But just before the trial was set to begin, in July 1993, more than 3 years after the murders, the defense team introduced a shocking new strategy which would soon shake the state's case to the core. The trial that transfixed the nation in part 2 of the Menendez brothers. How it really happened.
Did you lose sound then? So I want. I'll let you in on a little secret. I found two. It is. She absolutely is. Shit stirrer. So I went on Twitter before because I'm trying to keep my eye on, all these different spots that might pop up with some info. And I found Jennifer Coffin Doofus had posted two really, really blurry crime scene photos. And she was like, I want to have a look. So I sent them to her on WhatsApp. And she sends me back a link with the autopsy photos. Oh my God. They're horrible. Like, woof. And I'm just like, okay, you win. No, I can't stand her either. Yeah, so if anyone likes like the real gore, like the whole thing. Well, it was the first trial to be broadcast on court TV, but it was also one of the first defense for the battered spouse, battered wife, battered child defense.
Because they did such a great job.
I think the prosecution was confident of their case. I think they thought that the jury is not going to buy this defense, and so I don't think they really prepared a significant response.
You learned to lie as a child, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Fascism is. What's that? Oh, sorry. Are you asking Teresa if she's Aussie? She wishes. See you in Kentucky. Kentucky.
I believe Erik and Lyle Menendez are telling the truth.
Oh, there's another one. Of Lyle Menendez's former friend. Oh, okay. Right on, Dougie. All right. Oh, stop. All right, now there was this one. Three hours ago. No, there's a sooner one than that. Oh, the news alert desk. How long ago was that tweeted? An hour ago. All right. Let's watch that. I think. Pause. Back here. Share this tab. You can. Oh. Hang on. I have to move you over. Okay. It's this one right here. And go.
I'm back here at the alert desk, and starting in the next few hours, Erik and Lyle Menendez will each face a California parole board that will decide whether the brothers should have a chance at freedom. They spent more than 3 decades behind bars for the 1989 killings of their parents, but they are newly eligible for release after a judge resentenced them back in May. Erik will have a hearing today. Lyle will have one tomorrow. During the hearings, the parole board will determine if the brothers pose an unreasonable risk of danger to society if they're released. The board will also hear statements from family members, the district attorney's office, and he says they're lying about their motives. If one or both of the brothers are granted parole, Governor Gavin Newsom holds the power to approve, deny, or modify the decision. We'll certainly let you know what happens. I'm back here at the alert desk, and starting in the next few hours, Erik and Lyle Menendez will each face a California parole board that will decide whether the brothers should have a chance at freedom. They spent more than 3 decades behind bars for the 1989 killings of their parents, but they are newly eligible for.
I was looking to see if there was anything. Is there a hurricane over? Hurricane Erin along the east coast? No, there is nothing that I can see. Lots of Donna Ellison. I am absolutely 100% not interested in. Watch live testimony continues on retrial. This is really annoying. There is nothing, not even on Twitter. Nothing. Zip. Okay, let's do this one. This is ABC News. That might have a bit of an update. Hang on. Share this one instead. You can zip over there. Thank you.
Since they murdered their parents in their Beverly Hills home 36 years ago. The brothers now set to face withering questioning from a parole board broadly tasked with answering a single question. Will the brothers pose an unreasonable risk to society if released?
I know.
Erik is up first. Tomorrow, it's Lyle.
The parole board has to make a determination on public safety. They can't just look at the seriousness of the crime. They have to look at all other evidence. How have the brothers done in custody? Have they been trouble-free? Have they accepted responsibility for these very serious crimes that happened over 30 years ago?
The brothers have long maintained the shooting.
There's not much else that I can really share anyway, sweetheart, so I don't think you're going to miss a great deal. I will try and keep an eye on it, but I'll have to update tomorrow. I am honestly, look, I've got like that many tabs open. There is nothing.
Was in self-defense following years of sexual abuse from their father. The Menendez family, which is also the family of the victims, Kitty and Jose Menendez, tell ABC News in a statement
Oh,
they're
yes.
cautiously optimistic and add the brothers have taken
the
full
family in here, I
accountability.
think.
They express sincere remorse to our family
Look
to
at
this
that,
day and have built a meaningful life defined by purpose and service. Prior to the brothers' resentencing, I spoke with the family. And at this point, the family is absolutely unanimous that they should be released, including their Aunt Terry, who's battling cancer and fears she may not live long enough to see them free.
It's a whole branch of my family erased. The ones that are gone and the ones that are still paying for it, which were kids.
The story of the Menendez brothers surged back into the spotlight after the release of the hit series
It's definitely
Monsters,
worth the watch
which dramatized their
if you've got
crimes.
Netflix.
I told him everything. Okay. Everything about what?
And in an interview overnight, LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman says
Yeah,
none of
he's
that
not happy.
is grounds for their release.
The Menendez.
I can't. The problem is 11 p.m. here in Australia is 9 a.m. in the US. So if you want to stream anything live in the US, that's when. So I can do recaps and stuff the following day. And I do have something in the pipeline that is going to be more user friendly, so to speak, because it's hard for me too. I struggle to get to sleep at night now. Yep. I often hear the magpies coming, and then I go, oh, okay, now I can sleep. So, yeah, no, it's all good, sweetheart. But yeah, I need to try and find a happy balance where I can do, some live stuff, and then I need to put some more fingers in the proverbial pie. Yes, it is. Yeah. Well, it's 1:30 here in Melbourne. 1:31.
His brothers have not exhibited this full insight into their actions. And since it is a key factor in determining whether or not someone's a risk of danger to society, they have not met this key factor. And at this point, they are not ready for parole.
Now, today's hearing is expected to last several hours. The biggest concern from the Menendez legal team is that their cell phone infractions will somehow overshadow decades of good conduct and rehabilitation. Now, even if they are approved for parole, it's a process that could last multiple months. Governor Gavin Newsom, of course, has the opportunity to veto that. And if they are rejected, they have a chance to appeal again. But it'll be at least 18 more months before they can appear before another board. Guys.
As you said, a monumental day for the brothers there. Matt, thank you.
It could be the most consequential day in the lives of Eric.
Whoa. That's about as updated as I can find anywhere on the interwebs. There is nothing. And I found that on a specific reporter's Twitter account. So it wasn't even I had to go down and down and down and down the rabbit hole just to find that. So yeah, no one is streaming it. No one's got it. There is nothing. And I don't really like Twitter, but it's handy for updates like that because that's where it comes out first. Hang on, let me just. CBS Evening News. Official account of CBS Evening News. What have they got? Hang on. 2 minutes ago. Hang on. Let's have a look. There we go. share this one. This is A. That's an and, obviously. Where is the... Yeah.
Hearings that could see them released from prison.
That's right. After more than 3 decades behind bars, they could be free early next year. KCAL News reporter Tina Patel joins us in studio to explain all of this. Tina,
You just tweeted this like 3 minutes ago. You know, though. Try again.
When it comes to news, facts matter.
I remember feeling that impact and just thinking, oh my God.
That's why 10 News Plus puts the truth first. 10 News Plus at 6. Today, the Menendez brothers begin parole hearings that could see them released from prison.
that's right. After more than 3 decades behind bars, they could be free early next year. KCAL News reporter Tina Patel joins us in studio to explain all of this. Tina, so many questions.
Stop. I want this one. This one here. Open sesame. Okay, let's see if I can play it. Come on.
Hunt for the next iconic housemates. If you think you have what it takes, apply now at 10.com.au.
Today, the Menendez brothers begin parole hearings that could see them released from prison.
That's right. After more than 3 decades behind bars, they could be free early next year. KCAL News reporter Tina Patel joins us in studio to explain all of this. Tina, so many questions right now.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are going to be watching. It was 36 years ago this week that Erik and Lyle Menendez killed their parents in their Beverly Hills home. Now the brothers will get to make their case separately on why they deserve to be set free. The brothers are still being held in a prison in San Diego. The parole board hearings will take place virtually from there. They will not be televised. Now, earlier this year, Erik and Lyle Menendez were resentenced to 50 years to life in prison under California's youthful offender law. Both were under the age.
Live, CBS News Los Angeles. Okay.
What about when people want to come swim, just recreational swim? The weekend is really where it's at for this location.
Correct. So, yeah, just plenty of sunscreen, bring supplies. You're going to be here probably all day. There's a lot to do, a lot of fun here with our splash pad.
35 minutes ago. You watch, I'll get pinged for this.
3 decades in prison, Erik and Lyle Menendez are finally facing parole hearings both today and tomorrow.
That's right. The brothers were convicted in 1996 for the murder of their parents and originally sentenced to life without parole. That changed back in May when a judge resentenced them to 50 years to life. It's a decision that made them eligible for parole. We're joined live by attorney Joanne Molinaro to break it all down for us. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Always good to have you. Okay, so we're about an hour from this first hearing starting. We understand it's going to happen over video conference. What else should we be expecting from this?
Well, I think the parole hearing today and tomorrow will focus on the key question, whether Erik and Lyle pose an unreasonable danger to the society. We're also going to hear from family members of the brothers who, according to most sources, they fully recommend and support the brothers' release. We're also going to hear from representatives from the DA's office, which is on the other end of the spectrum.
Where's Elizabeth when we need her?
They are very much opposing the parole of these brothers. So we're going to hear from a lot of different people. We also already have a risk assessment report that the parole board did back in May during the resentencing hearing. So there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be coming out. And of course, we're going to hear from the brothers themselves.
You know, when you think of a parole process, it's usually just a pretty quick thing, right, that happens. But in this particular case, we've had so many twists and turns and different entities involved and the governor weighing in, all these different places. Is this what a normal parole process looks like?
I think that the parole board will try to do everything as, quote, normal as possible. But the reality, no, of course not. It's not normal. We have millions of people who are going to be tuning in on reports and updates from this parole board hearing. We've got a lot of local interest because these crimes happened right here. These boys are, I don't want to call them boys anymore, but these gentlemen are essentially celebrities. So there's a lot of interest here. And as you noted, the governor has also weighed in sporadically throughout the entire resentencing process. And ultimately, he is going to be the, quote, arbiter of whether or not these gentlemen will be released. So there's a lot of attention that's going to be zeroed in on this. So I'm not sure that it's going to be a one and done type of thing that, you know, we typically may see.
Yeah, you talked about that risk assessment. What other factors is the parole board considering? And since the brothers are appearing individually, is it possible there's different outcomes for each of them?
Absolutely, Sheba. It is very possible that, for example, Erik will receive parole and Lyle may not. And in relation to that, one of the interesting things in the risk assessment report was that they found that Lyle has a tendency to show narcissistic personality. So there is absolutely a possibility, especially since the panel members themselves will be completely different from each brother, that we have a different result.
Could the other brother say that he was under narcissistic abuse?
He could say that. There are all sorts of things that can come out. You know, one of the things that did happen during the resentencing hearing is that each of these brothers said, I take full responsibility for what happened. It was an atrocious crime. It was awful. That was something that we saw, you know, DA requesting, demanding as part of the resentencing. And apparently it was not good enough for him.
No, he wanted specifics
exactly.
what they were apologizing for.
I lied. I manipulated. I said these things. That was what the Hockman was demanding as part of the resentencing. I don't know if any of that would come out in this parole board hearing.
Interesting.
It is fascinating. And I think it has garnered so much media attention. Does that weigh in at all for the parole board?
Again, I think the parole board would take the position, no, it doesn't. But how can it not? They're human beings after all. So they have to know that eyeballs are going to be on this. They are going to be scrutinized.
I'd be so
certainly, absolutely.
And what happens if parole is denied for one or either? Is there still hope, or is that the final decision?
It's not the final decision with regard to the parole, because as you know, people are up for parole multiple times. So they could certainly be released earlier than life, correct? But there's also the pending new trial motion, right? And there's also clemency as a possibility by the governor as well. So there are multiple different avenues that the brothers are continuing to pursue, which is, you know, strategically the way that I would recommend.
Sure.
Well, I think we'll be part of the millions watching today.
Absolutely. I
All
certainly
very
will be.
interesting. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, Joanne. Good to see you.
I am needed in Montana.
Fantastic
family is in danger.
Fantastic series. Really, really good. And that is as well. And the 1886. Oh, Lord. That's a tearjerker. Jerker. All right. I'm just waiting on an answer back. Oh dear, who put that? I reached out to Ty the other day just to see how he was doing, and he's just gotten back to me. So I said, did you want to come up and say hi? I'll just wait on an answer back before I sign off. You might want to come and say hello. We shall see. We shall see. Now, let me just double check on the Discord to see if there's any updates on there. What's that? What's that? Nope. Nothing there. No. Bugger. No. All right. Nothing on Twitter whatsoever. So twit twat. There was something else that I was going to show, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was. Let me go back and have a look at my history. That might remind me. Oh, yes, this one. The Friend. 1992 recording of The Friend. Stop. Share screen. This is only 3 minutes, so that should, if he doesn't reply by the time this is done, we missed out.
Lyle Menendez are telling the truth, that their story of molestation is genuine. I've interviewed over 400 people in the course of my 4.5 years.
One of my pet hates urine and genuine. Yeah, he's still having issues, apparently.
Of research on this story, and I have other independent corroboration outside of the trial testimony that supports their stories.
Bob Rand did discover one other person who said Lyle Menendez had talked about sexual abuse before he was arrested. Donovan Goudreau. He was a roommate of Lyle's at Princeton. In a taped interview that's never been heard before, Goudreau tells Rand about the conversations.
That one person who would know something isn't here to defend himself.
No, see, the reason he told me that, he did tell me a lot of things about, his father stuff and that. But it's like, but I always thought he was doing it to lure me into maybe believing his objectives, But he never told me why he was doing it, why he was telling me. It didn't make sense until afterwards. You know what I'm saying? He told me a lot about their past and stuff. And, it was similar to my past. I was molested as a child, and I told him that, and I guess that opened the gate. He told me, and it was like, wow, and his brother were molested.
The trouble is, when Goudreau took the witness stand, he denied the conversation ever took place. When a tape was played for him, he said he still didn't remember.
So you still have no memory of that conversation with Mr. Rand?
No, I don't.
Are you saying that conversation never took place?
No, it obviously took place. I just don't remember the conversation.
You recognize your voice?
Yes, I do.
That is your voice?
Yes, it is.
4 days later, in a hearing outside of the presence of the jury, Jill Lansing, Lyle Menendez's attorney, questioned Donovan about the conversation with Lyle at the Chinese restaurant. And when she asked Donovan the question, in the course of the questioning, Jill asked about the conversation at the Chinese restaurant. And when she asked about what was Lyle's reaction after you told him you had been molested, Donovan Goudreau said on the witness stand, nothing. And Jill Lansing turned very pale. She was shocked because she knew about this conversation from several sources, including myself. And but Mr. Goudreau denied that he had ever had that conversation with Lyle Menendez. That evening, on the advice of an attorney, I went to one of the local Los Angeles television stations with the audio tape interview I had recorded in March of 1992, and I played a portion of that tape for the newscast, in effect publishing the information. The next morning, the defense attorneys had videotaped the newscast, and they brought the air check of the newscast into the courtroom, and they confronted Donovan Goudreau on the witness stand, and they asked him if hearing this tape refreshed his memory. And he admitted that that was his voice on the tape, but he didn't recall ever having that conversation with me, even though he and I had discussed this topic a number of other times in the course of our relationship over the 3 years before the trial.
Erik and I killed our parents together, so I'd say that makes us pretty close.
Monsters. The Lyle and Erik Menendez story may be quite the hit on Netflix and may even be a catalyst for Erik and Lyle to be released from prison 35 years after they murdered their parents.
Well, there you go. I won't keep that up because that will ping me definitely. You know what? I put up I found a little video that two old ladies had taken a bear, like they found a bear in this bar, and I just thought it was the cutest thing. So I clipped it and put it up. I got pinged for it, like for copyright. I'm like, can you for real? So I think YouTube is just being very, like, every second stream I put up, they give me not a warning, but like a notice saying, you know, oh, you need to adjust this little bit, or you need to take action on this section, or this, anything they can find. All right, he hasn't gotten back, so that's okay. Another time. I actually might even reach out to my cousin tomorrow and see if he might join us on stream. I was thinking we could do like a music trivia type of thing where he can play a few chords of a song and everyone can guess it. That's if he agrees to come on and if he's not busy. No, there's nothing on. I was just actually having a look. There's a baby Emmanuel. It's a case apparently. Where is it? It just popped up like while I was looking. Oops. Oopsie. Where is it? Come on, I want the description. Description, please. Apparently it was a baby dumped in a dumpster. Surveillance footage or something. Doesn't even say where. That's all I got. Baby Emmanuel. Oh, here we go. Lauren Mathias was a television reporter for a decade. She and her husband, Dr. John, criminal psychologist, started. Oh yeah, what started as a simple conversation. They didn't tell me. I don't want your bio. I want the bloody Emmanuel Harrow missing. That's just their tags. Okay. I've got no information whatsoever. That's helpful. All right. Well, all I can do is keep my eyes open, keep my ears pinned to the ground. If we don't have anything come up between now and tomorrow, I'll see if we can. I'll try and stream on Discord some of that the docuseries, if you like. Give something to do. I'll find something. Don't you worry. Oh, all right. I am going to hit the fart sack. I'm getting. Oh, excuse me. My back's getting spasms from sitting up. So yeah, it's time to go lay horizontal. Horizontal? Horizontal. Horizontal. Yeah, that way. Flat. Just like that. All right. If you find anything during the day, feel free to flick me a link and I will share it to Moz. All right. Stay safe. Stay cool. Don't be good. Be good at it. And hasta la vista, bitches. Bye-bye.
Hey there, thanks for stopping in. We hope you will join us again. We all look forward to next time. We get to talk about true crime. Clues. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule and the defense rests. Our true crime family is great. All types of topics we debate. Smash that like and ring that bell. Hit subscribe, you might as well.